Batman the Night, issue 10, Chip Zdarsky writing with Carmine Digidomenico on the art. So this is the final issue. The front cover definitely made me think, oh, are we ending this with the bat coming through the window? Because that's what the cover is. Not quite that. Actually, the last few pages were very Batman Begins, I thought. Partly because he says it's time to begin, which made me think of the movie, but also it kind of felt like the last scene in this was the scene in Batman Begins where he goes out of the cave and just stands as the bats are swirling around him. Yeah. It felt much like that.
I thought it was going to end right before he gets on the plane with Alfred.
Sure, yeah.
And, but it goes one step with that thing. But, man, Zdarsky and Batman is a really great combination. Because I felt this pulled all those threads together, even in that very rough first issue with Hugo Strange. This pulled all his threads through the other 9 issues together to give us a satisfying ending, which I've talked about in comics sometimes, like, with the exception of some of these miniseries or series like Rorschach or whatever, it's hard to stick the ending, or it's hard to stick that landing for a fulfilling ending. And I feel Zdarsky did here.
Yeah, in fact, the other Batman Begins parallel is that, this kind of involves Bruce, like, rebelling against Ra's al Ghul and burning down his building. Because my house. Yeah, that happens again here, where turns out Ra's, after Bruce has won the fight with, what's his face? Ghostmaker. After he's won the fight with him and he's going to be the heart of the demon, he's like, oh, it turns out Raz is going to launch these missiles to, like, sort of force cities into, like, under his control. Yeah,
he's cleansing them with fire.
Yeah,
is what he's doing. Yeah, it's
a straight up terrorist.
It's a little bit different than the Batman Begins.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. His
tear gas.
Yes, right? Well, his plan's a little bit different, but the idea that Bruce then fights back and burns the place down. But the thing that I liked about it in here that's unique to this versus Batman Begins is that a lot of his narration building up to this is that he's been so just searching for things up until now that for the first time he feels like he's got a plan, and he likes that. He feels power in that. I also like, even though it's a little on the nose, he talks about how he goes to this cave where Raz is to, like, do his thinking, and there's something about planning in a cave, because a cave's like one of the most unplanned things on it. It's this natural, just, like, formation of it's shapes and sizes. Creating,
versus a man-made, like, because all of Raz's crystal structures are all inherently man-made.
Yeah, they're all crafted and architected. Yeah.
And this cave is just nature, and that he feels kind of in touch with the earth because he's under there, away from prying eyes.
So it sets up that he's going to be wanting to be in a cave, of course, but just that juxtaposition of having him form strategy and plans, and, like, in a place where there is no plan. It's kind of a nice, like, sentiment there, but he he ultimately puts his plan into action, because he's like, he already knew Raz was up to, like, all this bad stuff, so he blows up the missiles so that he can't use them. There's even a point where he hangs upside down. It's very Batman-like in his ninja outfit. It's just really nice stuff. And the little swerve here is that he is kind of like Left 4 Dead at one point, as all the fire's going on and he's fighting Raz, and it's Ghostmaker who comes back for him and saves him. That means he gets to live. So it's like, okay, that's a little different to the norm, but, in many ways, like, when you talk about this, is like this entire miniseries is taking that time that Bruce traveled training to be Batman, and just turning that into, like, a full-fledged story. So you can effectively, you could just read year one after this and it would follow on relatively well. Like, that's what this is, and the fact that it even, like, incorporates some of Batman Begins into it, I think intentionally. I think the use of the word begins is very, it's time to begin.
Yeah,
that is definitely
that movie's part of Batlore now.
Yeah,
right?
It's a tip of the hat. It's a tip of the hat to that. It is, like, I think, this always had to build up to, like, him with Ra's al Ghul. That had to be the ending, right? That had to be the final chapter in this journey around the world.
I was waiting for it from the time he got to the sensei. In the mountains, and I was like, I feel like Ra's is around the corner. And it took, like, another 5 issues, and that's what I mean by being very fulfilling. It felt the story, like, we all know where it was going, because this is a prequel kind of story, but the way that it got there, I wasn't expecting. Like, him and Ghostmaker kind of teaming up one last time, because for as bad as Ghostmaker can be and wanting with human life, he doesn't want what Ra's al Ghul does.
No.
So
he doesn't want to commit genocide, which is a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
No, but it's really sweet though, because he's going back to the house and he's kind of like, I don't care if Gotham rejects me, but if Alfred rejects me, that's a problem. Like, that matters to him. And Alfred obviously hugs him immediately, and he tells Alfred about his journey and his travels and everything. But then he lies in bed and goes, this is this man-made bed. It's comfortable. It's sleek. It's the bed of a rich man. And that sort of leads him to, when Alfred comes to get him, he's not there, he's down in the cave, and that's the final page, is him being surrounded by the bats. Now, obviously, this doesn't do the fear thing with Batman Begins, where he's like overcoming his fear in the cave with the bats, but, it doesn't have to be the exact same, but it definitely, there was a lot of things in this last issue that made me think of Begins. Yeah,
well, and just the idea of him, like, it's bringing back to the idea of a knight, of all this training is his armor, to protect him from, everything else. So, by the time he's in that cave, he has his armor on.
Yeah, and you get the sense that this final scene, this final page, is him realizing the idea of the bat. Like, he's not had that idea yet. He's not, obviously he knows he wants to fight crime, but he's not had the idea of dressing like a bat yet.
Right.
And that was never going to be what this was really about. This is a nice little tag at the end, but that's what Batman Year One and other stories do. That's what. And
I'm glad we didn't get him sitting in the chair with ringing the bell. I like the idea that this is him hoping that Alfred is still there for him. That.
I mean, I wouldn't have minded if there was a quick montage of him going out, that first time in Year One, and then he's sitting there in the seat. If you wanted to end it with the bat coming through the window, I would have understood that as a final beat.
But I'm glad they had some restraint and ended it with that cave. But man, Zdarsky and Batman, it's a great combination right now. I'm happy to have stuck with this.
Yeah. So now that brings an end to the 10-issue book. Obviously, G. Domenico art. There's not a whole lot to say because it's been very consistent throughout.
Yeah.
If anything, I think it maybe even got a little bit better here, just in the sense that I think when it comes to Batman, it probably lends itself better to the darkness. So when he's like upside in the ninja outfit and things like that, it looks really good.
Him in the ninja outfit, Roz and all that, and Ghostmaker. I feel like that's where G. Domenico was really thriving.
Yeah, I think G. Domenico is less of a standing around and talking heads type of artist.
For sure.
He's less about subtlety, more about cool moments, I would say.
Yeah. Well, and that's why we enjoyed him on Flash so much.
Yeah,
because there was a motion and a fluidity to everything. Yeah.
All right, Batman the Night, issue 10. What are you giving it?
An 8.
Yeah, I think I will agree with the 8. It was really good, and not the best issue, just because that issue in the cabin in the snow was fantastic, but really good.